Okay, we're rolling now.
Okay, so it's 5 p.m. This is Councilor Solms. I'm calling this regular meeting of the Ledyard Town Council Finance Committee to order. Present are Councilor Ingalls, Councilor Malone, both members of the committee, as well as Councilor McGrattan. I just see Marcia Hancock, Finance Director, joined, Councilor Davis, Mayor Allen, and Amanda Hutchinson from the day. So with that, I would accept the motion to approve the special meeting minutes of November 7th.
I'm on too, Bill.
Yeah, I mentioned Tom.
Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
No, that's okay. Hi, Tom. Tom's mute. So
I move the minutes.
thank you. Is there a second? I'll second them. Councilor Solms seconds the minutes. Any comments, corrections?
None.
No? Okay. All in favor, please say aye.
Counselor Ingalls votes aye.
Councilor Malone
I
votes.
see Tom. Thank you, Tom. Hi, Tom. And Councilor Solms votes aye as well. The motion passes and meaning the minutes are accepted. I have no informational items other than an updated version of the budget letter of directive draft, which I emailed to the council members, as well as the mayor and Marcia Hancock and Linda Davis. I hope I told it to Linda. I missed last time. Other than that, I have no informational items. Marcia, do you have a finance director's report for us? Marcia, can you hear?
I think Marcia wrote in the chat box that she doesn't have sound.
Oh, I don't have that open. So she did. Okay, we'll come back to Marcia. Okay, so our old business, we are not ready yet to move on item 1 because land use is going to, I think, act on it at their next meeting next week. And on item 2, Mayor, did you have any additional updates based on our last conversation on the pilot for Ledyard housing?
No, I placed several calls to Chaffa and I have not yet gotten a response, but I will call them every hour tomorrow until I do get a response.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Is there any other old business? Hearing none, would anyone like to amend the motion or the agenda under new business? Hearing none, I would entertain the first motion for item number 1.
I make a motion to authorize the mayor to enter lease negotiations for 2 classrooms in the former Ledyard Center School, 740 Colonel Ledyard Highway, from Landlord Ledyard Center, LLC of Middlefield, Connecticut. The leased space will be for the relocation of Ledyard Food Pantry.
Counselor Ingalls
Is there a second?
seconds.
Thank you, Councilor Ingalls. Thank you, Councilor Malone. So we don't have any actual numbers to discuss on this. We're just authorizing the mayor to entertain or to enter into negotiations. The Ledyard Food Pantry in its present location is operating out of 3 buildings. It has outgrown its space. We've spent a lot of time trying to find ways to make it work in the present location. We've also looked at Gales Ferry Community Center. We've looked at other locations. And the mayor came forward with this idea, which seems like the best location of all pending negotiations. There's space, 2 classrooms, which would in total be more than the total square footage of the entire carriage house, of which we were only planning to build out half. And it's approximately the same as the total space in the 3 buildings at the Congregational Church, but the Congregational Church bathrooms are in a separate building. Here, the bathrooms are in the same building. Everything's on one level. and there is plenty of parking, and it's still in Ledyard Center, which in my personal opinion is a great benefit because it's right across the street from Town Hall. So when people need to go to Town Hall to register or ask and get answers to questions, it's not a trip across town. So that's it. Are there any questions? Comment?
Yeah, I have a,
Comment? No? Okay.
how much square footage are we looking at here?
Approximately 17,000. I'm sorry, 1,700. And as I mentioned, the entire carriage house or the former food building on the Congregational Church grounds is only 1,500 square feet. So it's a little more space than that building.
Okay.
That whole.
Thank-
Okay. Ready to vote? All in favor, please say aye.
Counselor Ingalls votes aye.
Counselor Malone votes aye.
Counselor Song votes aye. Motion passes. And the next item we have is the motion to approve the letter of directive. Who would like to make that one?
I will make that motion. I move that we approve a letter of directive to the Mayor and Board of Education for the preparation of the fiscal year 2021-2022 budget.
Counselor Malone second.
Thank you. So you each have a copy of the draft that I emailed to everyone today. I don't know if it's attached to the agenda, but we had some subsequent discussion this afternoon via email when I asked for any comments. And we had an interesting conversation via email about the Paid Family Medical Leave Act, which will be not an expense for the town, but it's an expense for every employed person. And Councilor Ingalls, if you can correct me on this, it's 0.005% of, I'm sorry, it's 0.05% of a person's salary will be deducted. So I did some quick math on that. So if a person is making $50,000 a year, I believe that's a $25 deduction from their salary. Pardon me?
I talked to Don, and Marcia might know, or Fred, but he said that state and municipal employees were exempt from that 5% payroll tax.
Okay, so this is more. No, this is more focused on a bite out of every taxpayer's pocket. Everyone who is receiving a salary. So it's not an expense so much to the town. It's the taxpayer's ability to pay that's affected.
Right.
But
sorry.
I'm coming up with a $25 cost to each employee who is affected by this.
I think it's $250, Bill. I think it's $250. So one half of 1%, right?
Oh, it's a half of one. Okay, so that,
Yeah,
thank
one
you,
half
Fred.
of
That's what I was
1%.
looking for. Okay. So that's a $250 deduction for every person making $50,000, more if more and less if less. So I added a sentence which I emailed to the counselors. And I also made a comment about the effect of the pandemic in the coming year. So I'm going to read it to you and look for your comments. I said, and I put this right after the town bullet points, and just before we talk about these factors contributing to the need to approach our fiscal year budget with the objective of reducing expenses, et cetera. So here's what I said. In the coming 12 months, many taxpayers will be out of work, and if economic projections are borne out, many more could lose their jobs in a potential recession ensuing from a long-term pandemic. Further, those who continue to be employed will see a reduction in their take-home pay due to the implementation of the Paid Family Medical Leave Act. And then I put in parentheses, $50,000 wages means $250 reduction. Should say deduction.
So
Under
Bill,
your thoughts on-
your draft says $25, not $250.
I just corrected it on my copy because of
Oh,
Fred's
okay.
correction on my
Okay.
behalf. So it now says $250.
I have a question.
Yes, Mary.
Why are municipal employees exempt?
I don't have an answer for that.
Are they?
I think that was just the language in the legislation that government employees were exempt from it. We can check.
Okay.
So, Sherry,
Marcia has her hand up.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, exactly. Go ahead.
Marcia has her hand up.
No, I was resting on, no, I'm fine. I think we need to clarify because I've seen information that certain unions were exempt and then no, they certainly were not. My understanding when it was being pitched was that there would be no exemptions. Everybody needed to pay in to make it solvent. I certainly have questions about its long-term solvency, but I think we need to double check that.
Okay. So we have a week. We can make final adjustments at the town council meeting if no one objects. And Linda, you had your hand up.
I'm curious why you didn't put anything in the letter in regards to what kind of number you're looking for in terms of a flat budget, a decreased budget. I mean, it's the letter doesn't really say that.
Maybe I read it too quickly. I thought it did.
I thought it said something about keeping it flat.
Yeah.
Does it? I could have read it too quickly. I read it this morning.
Yeah, it's the last page. The finance committee input says, with the COVID-19 pandemic still living in the hardship it has placed on our residents and businesses, the finance committee again recommends for the fiscal year 2021-2022 budget that the budget be prepared with zero increase in all non-contractual expenses, further reduction of contractual expenses through renegotiation, corresponding decreases in operating budgets, blah, blah, blah. So basically it's saying if you have an increase.
Bill, is that in the one you sent me?
Yes, last page.
Huh, okay.
Linda, to be fair, it doesn't come out and say a $0 mil increase. What it says is a zero increase in all non-contractual expenses, and then it talks about reducing expenses if there are increases in contractual. So you reduce if your contract expenses go up, you reduce your other expenses to get to zero. It's not that specific. It doesn't come right out and say a $0 mil increase.
Okay.
Marcia's hand is up.
Marcia.
Okay, I'm on my phone. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay. On the last page, where you talk about when the budgets are due, the Board of Ed budget is actually due, I think, a week before the town budget. So you might want to make that change so that Board of Ed doesn't turn theirs in on March 1st.
I'm looking for that.
It's in bold.
Is it the
where it says March 1st is in bold. I think it's close to the bottom of the page.
Okay.
Theirs is due in February. I looked in the charter.
I think you usually do two different letters for that reason.
Right. I thought I had it in there for the Board of Ed because I looked it up, but I'm not seeing it now.
I was reading.
For the charter, the Board of Ed budget would be due this year on February 22nd.
Okay. So I'll just put a note in the letter, Roxanne, and it's kind of a comment. What is it, due February?
It's on the budget process sheet I sent out. It's February 22nd.
22nd, okay,
It's the fourth Monday of February.
okay. So in the interest of time, I'm just making a note that we need to add that. Other comments, corrections, thoughts?
No.
I've just lost everybody's video. Okay, you guys are coming back. Okay, it's a 2-page letter. We wanted to get it to one. I think we have to make all these points, and I don't see how we can get it to 1 page if we're going to make the points about what the town is experiencing budget-wise. And then, of course, we've got 6 more pages or more of documentation on the actual process. So that said, any final comments?
No.
So we're going to vote to recommend this to the town council as the motion says, and we'll act on it at our next town council meeting next week. So you guys ready to vote?
Ready to vote.
All in favor, please say aye.
Counselor Ingalls votes aye.
Counselor Malone votes aye.
And so does Councilor Solms. The motion passes. Thank you very much. Okay, next item is the annual budget schedule. And I need to shift to another web page. Bear with me for 1 second. And in the meantime, did anybody have comments on it?
Nope.
No. No, it looks pretty straightforward.
Okay. All right, then I won't go to that other page. All in favor? Well, do we need to, hold on.
I
I
don't
don't
think,
know-
No,
I don't think we need to vote.
No, it's just a review, yeah.
Right, I just put it on there, Bill, because I didn't know if you guys wanted to talk about it relative to, like, last year when the governor changed the schedule for everybody. So I just wanted you guys to kind of look at it and talk about whether.
Yeah, Fred was asking for information. I don't know if you got any, Fred. What was the outcome of that?
So there isn't any. I did communicate with the governor's office. The governor is exploring adding additional executive orders. I did review the executive orders that pertain to that right now, 7B and 7I, which talked about budget work and everything. But those executive orders are very specific to the fiscal year that we are currently in. It's not for the contemplated FY22 fiscal year. So we're still waiting on more guidance from the governor's office. And I suspect it's forthcoming because the vaccine rollout is going to be a longer haul than we probably anticipate. So I think we'll probably be doing the same thing this coming year that we did last year.
So you were the first to ask that question, right? Of the governor. Fred.
Yeah, say that once more, Bill.
You were the first to ask that question. It sounded like they hadn't thought about it.
I was. I communicated with Jonathan. I can't think of his last name now. He's his senior advisor, and that had not been brought up by anybody yet. But he has a working group that specifically works on executive orders, and they are now working on what they feel are going to be the next round of executive orders that will carry most municipalities through the budgeting process once again.
Okay.
Jonathan Harris.
Thank you, Jonathan Harris.
Okay. So we don't really need to act on this for a discussion.
No. Okay. How about the budget work session? Does anybody have any constraints on their calendar for our budget work session, our meetings with the town departments?
I do not.
I don't either. Tom?
I'm good.
Okay.
How they
So the
go
other thing we
there,
wanted
Phil?
to talk about is how we actually carry those meetings out. In the past, we've met in person. The Finance Committee and other interested counselors and any residents have met in person in the annex, in the council chambers, around a big table. So the question this year, all our council meetings and committee meetings have been remote. How do we handle the budget work sessions? One option is to just do it like we did last year, which was pre-COVID. Another is to do it all remote, all employees of the town and the council members. And the third option is some hybrid. Those who wanted to attend in person could, and we'd also use WebEx and the flat screen TV in the council chambers to have a WebEx meeting. Someone needs to mute, please. Thank you. So, counselors, thoughts on how do you want to be remote? Do you want to be in person?
My
It's 3 months
preference,
away. Go
yeah,
ahead, Andrea.
my preference really would be in person. It's a cumbersome load of details to look at, and something is lost in online meetings. So I would strongly prefer a hybrid so that core people can be there in person and anyone who wants to participate remotely would have that opportunity as well.
Yep.
I
Your thoughts?
with Andra, I think, having the option to go in person, using the correct, COVID protocols, I think is a lot more effective than just doing it remotely.
Okay, thank you. Other counselors?
In past
Mary?
years, there hasn't been that many people that we couldn't spread out to be in compliance with social distancing. I mean, we're not overrun with people
Right.
at the budget meetings during the day.
So one of the things that I think we could do, I'm fine with hybrid myself. I'm not opposed to being remote. As a matter of fact, I prefer remote for myself personally. But I think we have an opportunity to do something we haven't done with any of our WebEx meetings to date. And Roxanne and I have talked about this briefly, and I would propose that we trial it first. But all of the meetings that I attend day after day in my business life, very few people have their camera turned on. It improves the video quality, and more importantly, they don't turn it on because sooner or later somebody is sharing a document. And when you share a document, everyone's looking at the same thing, as opposed to everyone in a different place in their Excel file. And I really think we should try that, because we could also put that shared document up on the big screen TV, so everyone who's in the room, as well as the participants, can be looking at the same document in the same place. So I think we have some opportunities, but hybrid seems to me to be the way to go, because not every town employee is a user of WebEx, and may not be at all comfortable with it from their office. And I can just imagine some of the challenges we'd have with first-time users of WebEx. And maybe I'm making an assumption that's incorrect, but I have to think that some people are going to want to come to a meeting in person to present their budget. So, other thoughts?
Bill, can I add one quick thing?
Sure, Fred.
I think what I will do too is I will ask department heads when they come, or various departments, to, in this particular year, to eliminate the entourage. So
Yeah,
department
good idea.
head attends, and
Yeah.
you know there are some select departments that will bring 2, 3, 5 people. I think we're going to have to mitigate that this year and stick to the presenter.
I think that's a very good idea. One of the things that I read a long time ago about this particular virus is that the longer you're in a shared space, breathing, and more importantly, talking and hopefully not yelling, the longer you're in a space with the same people, breathing, with masks or without, with masks is certainly a lot better, but the longer you're in that space, the more likely you are to incur a risk. And I had that conversation with one of my banking clients, and they have been working together in their call center and doing training, and they did a lot of things together. And I spoke to them tonight. The vice president and the assistant manager are both out with COVID, as is one of the call center employees. So for that reason, I think it's important that we pay attention not only to our spacing and the number of the people in the room, but the time we spend in that room. And a 4-hour meeting in the same room with the same people is a risk. So I think we need to be careful. But it's 4 months away, so we'll know more when we get there. But I think hybrid is the way to go. Other thoughts? Okay. I don't think we have any other business. Thank you all for coming, and I will adjourn this meeting at 5:27.
Have a good night, everybody.
Good
Thanks.
night.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night.
Good night.